welcome to another one of my Leetcode videos. In this one, we will be doing Leetcode number 70, which is climbing stairs. So the problem is you're climbing a staircase. There's a total of n steps to reach all the way to the top of the staircase. And then there's two ways you can climb. If you're at the given spot, you can either take one step or two steps. And so it's asking how many ways are there that you can get to the top. So for example, if there's a total of two steps, you can either take one step and then another step, or you can just take two steps. So there's two ways that you can climb to the top. Similarly, if there are three steps, one way you can go is just do all three steps. Another way is 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, right? So in this case, there are three ways where we can climb to the top. So this is kind of like a recursive / dynamic programming kind of problem. And the way I approach this is I first come up with a mathematical model, right? So let's say if the number of ways I can climb a staircase of n is basically equal to the number of ways I can climb to n minus 1, because from there I can just take one step and get to the top, plus the number of ways I can climb to n minus 2. So, the number of ways I can climb to the third step is number of ways I can get to the second step, plus the number of ways I can get to the first step, right? And if I add them together, then I'll get to the third step. We know our base cases, right? So let's say ways at 0, ways at 1, if there's only one step, we will have one way to climb that only one step, right? And if there are two steps, we will have two ways of climbing it, because you can either take one step and then another step, or you can take two steps at once. So there's two ways. So if we know 1 and 2, we can compute n by just, we can compute 3, 4, so on up to n, and then we have our ways at n, right? So let's see how this goes. So for int I is equal to, so we'll check our base cases first, right? So if n is equal to 1 or n is equal to 2, we just return n, right? And then for int I is equal to 3, so we go up to I less than equal to n, I plus plus. So we go all the way to ways of n. So here we can store ways n minus 2 to be equal to 1, because that will be ways of 1. And then ways of n minus 1, which is this one, will be equal to 2, because n is 3, 3 minus 1, 2, so ways of 2 is 2. So here we've stored ways minus 1 and ways minus 2, and then we'll compute ways n. And as we compute n, we'll kind of shift it. So ways n then becomes n minus 1, and then n minus 1 becomes n minus 2. So let's see, ways n will be equal to ways n minus 1 plus ways n minus 2. And then we'll have ways n minus 2 is now equal to ways n minus 1. And ways n minus 1 will be equal to ways n for the next iteration. Right, so we compute ways n and then we shift it to the right. So at the end of this, the ways for n will be stored in n minus 1. So that's what we return. And yeah, that's it. So let's try to run the code. Accept it. Let's submit it. Yes, accepted, 100% solution. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.